Tell you about Legend Seeker and how you can support its development while getting some awesome perks. By subscribing to our legendary tier on YouTube or becoming a paid member on our Discord or Patreon, you'll get early access to all Legend Seeker lore and mechanics. This means you'll be among the first to dive into the world of Legend Seeker and give direct feedback that will help shape the game. But that's not all. Supporters will also be the first to playtest the system and will get exclusive invites to private streams where we discuss the game in detail. Your input will play a huge role in making Legend Seeker the best that it can be. Now, for those of you who love watching our tabletop role-playing game shows, supporting Legend Seeker comes with some fun bonuses for the casts. Here's how it works. If you are a Copper or Common member on Discord or Patreon, you can give a $20 benefit to a player of your choice. Silver and Uncommon members can give 2 benefits to 2 players of your choice. If you go the YouTube route, you can give a $50 benefit to a player of your choice. And for the ultimate support, Gold and Mythic members on Discord and Patreon give a $20 benefit to 3 players of your choice. You can choose from all casts across Moonskull. Every bit of support goes directly towards making Legend Seeker a reality. It helps fund the art, writing, editing, and eventual publishing of the game. So, if you want to be a part of this journey and support our shows, join our legendary tier on YouTube or become a member on Discord or Patreon. We couldn't do it without you, and we're excited to build Legend Seeker together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the game.
Man, I hope there's none of those people out there. I see you. People. I mean, hi, I'm Frost. This is Frost written. I don't totally have a horrible headache or anything, and I'm just slamming coffee. No, sirree, I'm here to amuse you and dance like a monkey. Write like a monkey. Something like that. I know, people are the worst. They always want something. And I've got to trim my mustache again, so I have to keep doing this when I drink. Because it traps coffee and stuff. It's like a candle wick. It's just, wee. So anyway, hi everybody. Happy Tuesday. I took a quick little nap right after work just to stretch my my back and my neck out, and it didn't help. I think I slept just in a weird position last night, but Calvino helped. He flopped, and then he curled up against me like a caterpillar and was very happy himself. So hearing the kitty cat purring, that always helps me. All right, let's get to symbols. I'm adding one more little thing in the middle of this area here because I have to add something in the middle because why not, right? And Hagenveld is up in there, and it's going to have a road coming out of Göteborg because it needs something. It needs a thing. And this road, let's see, we're coming back and down. I'm trying to decide if I should bring it from before. Yeah, we'll go from before. So we'll start here, go out through the hills. It'll be hidden by the words here, but it will go up in here and it will connect up in the hills. Because this is a remote area, but this whole area out here is going to be tons and tons and tons of farming land, and that's why I've changed the color a little bit, made it a little more green, just a bit. Your people, I don't know, I guess your people. Use a hammer, not coffee, it cures your headache. No, other people's headaches, not my headache. A shovel. There's a hum. You hear a hum? Nothing is running. It's almost completely silent down here. Huh. I can turn my microphone down. The only reason I ever turned that damn gain up anyway is because of people like JT who can't hear. I mean, we love JT. Purring supposedly has healing properties, yes. So I'm going to guess it helped. We'll go with yes. All right, I'm going to grab this last label that somehow got moved. I don't know how I did that. I moved that over there. All right, so I got to write this up into here, the Hagenwald. Oh, let's find ourselves where we were at here. We were at... We'll go to Freiland. We will go to it. We will close that. All right, so Hagenwald. Bergen, Den Hof, Unstockable, Old Home. Okay, we're gonna put Hagenwald into center. Anywhere else in the kingdom. So, a farming community at the heart of Freiland. This town is more ancient Freilundian ruins and forts in the hills than anywhere else in the kingdom. Long before the God Killer War. Boo. Let's see. JT can't hear. She doesn't pay attention. Well, that is true. JT doesn't always pay attention. He does other things occasionally. Is he around? Is he around? Can he even hear us, really, though? Within hiking distance of more ancient friendly anywhere else in the kingdom, the Run of Hills is once home to the ancient Freilundian capital, Freiburg, long before the God Killer War. But it was Freiburg. Long before the God Killer War, it was abandoned for the more modern defensible Gutenberg. There we go. Okay, so we named that. Okay, somehow that doesn't like that. All right, it doesn't like me zoom in and out like that. So we've gotten a lot of crazy stuff done with rivers and lakes and stuff over the last couple of weeks. And we've got lots of color and shapes, and we got tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff happening all over in the world here. So what I'm going to be doing today is going back to the beginning. Vizimi always said, go back to the beginning. My mouse is behaving weirdly. It's like I scroll up, and then it decides to scroll down slightly. Not every time. It's just often, and I don't know why. Yeah, like that. It just did it, and I wasn't even touching the mouse wheel there. All right, let's get back up here. We've got Netzef, Littleford, Barbarian Tribes, Arisium. Okay, the detailed timeline. All right, we're into the Godlands archive here. All right, I'm getting to the first entry, which is the Caustic Strand. And the quote that I put for the Caustic Strand is something that people say in the Strand is, a job well done speaks for itself. And it is one of their proverbs. You got any cemeteries? Oh, every city has a cemetery. Yeah, I thought maybe, oh, there was something in it. I mean, it's just an optical mouse, and I used a little spray can of air to, you can see my mouse cursor moving around there because I'm, playing around with the sensor there, but there's nothing on it, and I have a brand new-ish mouse pad here, so there's nothing on it either. It just started happening, I don't know, a week or so ago. I think the mouse may just be dying. It was not an expensive mouse. And they make things to last, well, for crap nowadays. Let's just put it that way. All right, their major conflict with the caustic strain is trade skirmishes and natural predators. The capital is Aquae Aforae, but is now called just A4. Boop, right here. They changed out their long form name because the people in Agrium still use their proper long names: Aquae Matai, Aquae Solis, Aquae Luris, and things like that. But these people have gone a little bit away from that and started to shorten them back. Since the God Killer War ended over the last 1,000 years, kind of changed them back into simple names. Simple names. Everything lasts 2 weeks. That's about right. The largest city is Port Castor. Port Castra is the official name. But did I change it on here? Yeah, it was Port Castor. Now it's Port Castor. Because this is the city name that they actually are using. Go with that. This is a republic with representatives. Their common dialect, or the dialect they use mostly, is common. There are halflings in some areas up here, but mostly it's common. Thalassa and Xander are the main gods and goddesses, which is wrong because I've changed all that. And oh no, he's not a major god. Ari is just, he is someone they really like, but he's not their main god. Never mind, I didn't change that. All right. There we go with my mouse again. What? Too soon, Dave. Too soon. India Maria, smack that man upside the head. If only she was here. Common name for the coastal republic of Efor. What did, let's go here. Let's see. Let's see. When they actually changed, like, say for instance, the Latin name, a colony was a colonia, but they didn't always name that. Because they call it Colias, yeah, Metamia, but they didn't call them Colonia. So yeah, we're gonna just Roman veterans. Okay, I'm gonna go into the Athenian part of this. Okay. Caustic strain is a common name, or is a common name for the coastal republic of Efor, once known by its Agrian name of Columbarium, for the habit of the coastal people people keeping dogs. Okay, we don't have to say that anymore because I just covered that in this sentence. All right. Warning, India smackscape may cause bruising, internal bleeding, and death. You missed Michaela saying, dang it. Especially if you only have one hit point. Yes, she could hurt you a lot. It was also home to a thriving population of master potters, fishermen, and devotees to both the goddess Thalassa and the demigod Ari, one of Xander's scions. It's once legendary. I'm not even going to say the one legendary. It's once stunning coastal isles and inner lands were laid to waste during the God Killer War by Grix and his fortresses. The outer defenses of Port Castra and the coastal mile forts of Aqua Euphoria. We're changing that to Port Castra because that was the original name of Aqua Euphoria. Were destroyed, leaving the people here to fend for themselves. We're going to say just defenses. They don't have to fend for themselves. More than a millennia later, land here has still not recovered. So I'm going to point something out. It's something I didn't... Why is that not... Oh, it's just no spacing. That's not right. Let's do this right. What is it doing here? Somehow I got a no spacing line set in there. There we go. I don't want that. All right, so if I... There we go. Now we got everything. All right. Yep. Mile forts of Aqua Euphoria were destroyed, leaving the people here at the mercy of marauding war bands. Was not limited to their defenses, though, as the passing monstrosities. Devastation was not limited to their defenses, though, as the passing monstrosities poisoned and cracked the very land as they fought Ari's forces to a standstill. Managed to slow the Until he was slain by Greeks, his forces managed to slow the advance of the evil armies until help arrived from Silvermon. Alright, and their combined might push Grix and his armies back out to sea. Even though Grix can fly, still his army had to get pushed out to sea. He couldn't be pushed out to sea, but... more than a millennia later, the land here is still not recovered. The locals have found ways to harvest the rich minerals and salt stirred up by the volcanic activity both in the coastal waters and hot springs that abound in the surrounding hills. Major villages each have a small military garrison rotated from Aquae Forai's standing army. We're going to just say, since we're giving it the proper new name, A4, standing army stationed here for the sole purpose of protecting the area's natural resource harvesting operations. Protecting the... We'll spell this out better. Harvest. Oops, areas is. There. We'll say, how many S's do I want in the word areas? All of them. So Gino, by the way, if you're still here, is that game, is that an MMO? I think it's an MMO, isn't it? You fight bosses and stuff? I'm not sure. I can't remember. I thought I saw somebody talking about it. Some kind of an anime game. Alright, there we go. That's a good way to end that sentence. Highly sought after salts and minerals from this area fetch a fair price in markets far and wide. Though the workers here only see a small portion of that profit since it passes through many hands to reach those distant buyers. Okay. Hey, I was right. It is that game. They lead simple lives, letting their work speak for them, enjoying stories around the hot springs and cold nights and the lure of the simple life, unburdened by war and deprivation. Originally founded by refugees from the God-Killer War, these villages have a strong tradition of storytelling, ancestral pride, and a work ethic admired by many. Naturally olive skin. Many of the people here can trace their legacy back to the great coastal cities destroyed in the God-Killer War, and a few even claim that they're descended from the kingdom of Las Delacia. Workers of the salt flats and the acidic pools of the caustic strand are easily recognized by their bleached hands, forearms, feet, and calves. Lifetime spent waiting and working in these pools often leaves these areas of their skin shades lighter and pockmarked, a symbol of pride, demonstrating a long life of dedicated work. Unburdened by what could be... I don't think they're unburdened. They're very burdened. They just try to pretend they're not burdened by it. I'm totally fine. Alright, many of the current villages along the strand were built around the only remaining structures after the devastation wrought by Grix and his army, the Agrian Mile Forts. Some of these ancient stone forts have been robbed away by builders and no longer stand, but in most, see, this is why I go through again, but in most villages, it sounds like I'm trying to be Italian, in the most villages, they tower above the houses and are home to the local garrison or justice council. What? Who dares talk to me while I'm doing things? Oh, that's a good question. I'm picking on them, but that's a good question. I'll let them discuss that. Anyway, nearly every village along the strand is built in close proximity to the main road or within sight of it. The countryside past the control of the mile forts is unsafe for many due to the large number of wild predators and unpredictable geological events. It's totally Italian. For the villages not near the freshwater rivers along the strand, we'll say the rivers, along the Strand. Fresh water is not easy to come by, so they use some of the same technology by which they gather the salts to condense fresh water for themselves. Often more guarded than the minerals they mine, fresh water in these villages is treated with great respect. Wells only pull up the expected brackish waters and sometimes foul-smelling gases, so digging anywhere not related to the processing of minerals is frowned upon. All right. Oh, my air exchanger for the house just turned on. I was like, what is that sound? Just like Olive Garden is Little Italy. Exactly. Hot springs. There are innumerable hot springs across the hills of the Strand. We're going to capitalize that. Most of them too dangerous for people to enjoy for leisure, but they yield great amounts of minerals when the water is evaporated properly. Some are used by the villagers for personal relaxation, usually ones with low mineral content that can't be exploited for resources. Others are just too deadly. Are too deadly to harvest from. They can range from ankle deep to fathoms deep, though most have a visible bottom and are easily harvested. Of particular danger are those that are most active geologically. Some pools feature geysers that are timely, erupting on a rough schedule so workers know when to get clear. The more unpredictable and dangerous pools are often richer in minerals as they get replenished by these eruptions. Baths. A few of the milder hot springs are massive and have been built over with great marble structures enclosing their healing waters in bathhouses and meddans, which are healing houses, where the well-to-do of many nations come to recuperate and reinvigorate themselves. These baths are mainly found in the larger cities along the Strand, but some of the villages have managed to build their own less grand versions for the use of locals. The ancient Agrarian battles in Aquaphora, baths in Aquaphora, so we're going to change that again to A4 again, because that is what it is. I don't have to capitalize that. Wonder to behold, spanning many acres, featuring both hot and cold pools. I don't like the way I phrased that sentence. I see why I gotta put a semicolon there. That'll work. They harken back to the greatness of the empire. The greatness of the empire at its height. Rumored to have amazing recuperative powers, the time in these baths comes at a premium price. Yeah, that's a weird sentence. I'm referencing something that's not really explained. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to think about it. Few residents of the Strand villages have ever entered one of these grand structures, but rather admire them from afar and through the tales of travelers. Boop, boop. Which cat is investigating the camera? I'm not sure what you mean. Did something weird happen? Two's nose. Did you say once that you have an air purifier filtration for your house as a separate system for HVAC? Yeah, it's a separate unit that sits. It's hung from the ceiling. It's got like cool things that hang chains. I guess it's for vibration lessening. That has its own hookup into. It hooks into the same system of the HVAC, sort of. It has big pipes and a heat exchanger and all that stuff. Boom. So yeah, I'm not sure what you mean there, Chrysanth, if one of the cats is investigating the cat. Oh, you mean outside. Oh, I got it. I thought you meant this. I'm like, nobody's looking. It is. Let's see who it is. It's probably like a whole gaggle of them at the moment. Wow, there's nobody. Wait, where'd they? Did they just? Oh, nope. It's Aha! It's Wolfie. That's funny. I turned the camera a titch, like, and he comes out. He came out of the little kitty cat house that's out there. He's just like sticks his head out, so he must have just gone in there. Oops. My cats. Okay, there we go. Wolfie! Oh, yeah, you're hearing the bloops. Yep. Yeah, I put food out for them earlier because they're like, oh, we're so hungry. It's like, it's not even mealtime. So I put a couple little things of pate out for them. And I heard thump, 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 down the deck stairs. I'm like, who's that? And it's April. She's like, oh, food? Like, I've never heard her make noise running before, but she's like, rah, rah, rah. She was very excited to get some food. But then she came over and the boys were all eating. She just sat down on her haunches and was just watching them. Like, oh no. So, of course, me being totally unmoved by anything because I have no emotions, I may have gotten another plate and put a can of pate out for her as well. Probably not, though. Not me. Yeah, it is. It's really bad and it's really good at the same time. It is 49 degrees right now. So that means snow is melting everywhere. And, you know, I still have piles of snow that are like 12 feet tall at the end of the driveway, filled with debris and stuff like that now that it's all melting. But my driveway doesn't get sun in the winter. So, or I shouldn't say, the road to my house doesn't get sun. The driveway part is like melted until it gets to the shade. Sheet of ice. And then a little bit of melting, but mostly a sheet of ice all the way down. And so I had somebody show up today to drop off a delivery. And I saw they were going to be coming. And I was like, oh, so I went out there and waited for them. And I stopped them, parked all the way down the road. And the guy's like, problem? I'm like, oh yeah, if you come down here, you're going to be on just ice and you'll be sliding down the hill and you'll end up living here. So you probably want to drop off whatever you got here and then you can back on out. And he goes, oh, okay. He handed me the stuff. He's like, no, that's fine. I can set it over here. I was like, there's a lot of ice. I was like, I don't want you to get hurt. He's like, I'm fine. He takes 3 steps and he's like, oh, you're not kidding about the ice. I'm like, why do you think I'm standing here with cleats on my shoes? Dingus? Anyway, people. Yeah, Venus Softy. Go from 61 to 35. Yeah, there is going to be rain here tonight. That's going to help the ice so much. It's going to be great. All right, Maidens. Ancient Agri and healing houses focus on not just the physical well-being of their patients, but the spiritual health as well. Many of their healers followed the teachings of Kylus, an ancient oracle and healer who blended herbal medicine with healing prayers to many of the gods. Tales tell of a lost maiden in the Temple of Xander, whose waters imparted wisdom and allowed the imbiber to recognize when falsehoods were being told. Destroyed along with the temple itself when Grixis overran the coast, such wonders are absent from the present-day Strand. Black ice, going to be great. Stuck inside. Yep. It's going to be amazing. I ran out of gas for my grill, so I was going to grill outside. And I'm like, do I really want to use charcoal right now? I guess I could. So I was going to do that after this, but then I remembered I have my game right after this, too. I'm like, crap. So I'm going to be eating something simple in the air fryer, I think. Because I totally forgot I had my game right after this. Whistlings. These nuisance creatures line the hills and coast of the entire caustic strand. Their distinctive cries haunt the villages, and they constantly harry the fishermen for scraps and shiny objects. The little predators often swallow items they can't digest, which get coated in slime in their stomachs to create small worry stones, which the whistlings eventually regurgitate in their nests. These natural stones are highly valuable, and the use of the strand routinely raid these nests looking for even one such treasure. More valuable than oyster pearls, the largest rumored stone of this type is an ancient specimen that supposedly adored a magical crown worn by an oracle who lived on the strand in ancient times. A devotee of Arintha, she regularly gazed into the shining bay, using its tranquil silvery waters as a scrying pool. So, small. Let's say ocean-hued. Small ocean-hued worm-like creatures measuring a foot or two in length. Small ocean-hued worm-like nuisance creatures measuring a foot or two in length. Whoops, I didn't mean to delete that. Nests on the hills and cliffs of the entire caustic strand. Their distinctive cries haunt the villages, and they constantly harry the fishermen for scraps and shiny objects. Okay. Oh, there we go. Whistling. Somebody's by the camera again. Time to go for a walk on the highway. Well, be careful out there, especially if there's ice. Dang fantasy gulls. Exactly. Scrock. What are you guys doing out there? Oh, they're sitting on the table out there, watching the trees. I guess the squirrels and crows and everything must be out there harrying them, taunting them. Okay, we can save that. Pool dragons. Bleached pale lizards can reach up to 4 foot in length and have a powerful and infectious bite. They linger in the hotter pools, hiding in the murky mineral-laden waters for warmth, and to stealthily hunt smaller mammals for food. People of the Strand usually check their work pools for these nearly invisible predators with long sticks, chasing them away or killing them for their resilient hides. Larger specimens find their hides tanned for use in constructing canoes, which are then used in the larger pools. Smaller hides are used to make work tools and protective gear. The bite of these lizards can be deadly if not flushed with cleansing agents, though most work crews carry around a paste made from local mineral-laced mud to combat just such an infection. You know, I think squirrels might be evil. I think so. People are like, oh, they're so cute. We have a pet squirrel. And I'm like, yeah, it's just playing you. It's going to come for you. Don't worry. You'll find out in the end. Last thing you'll see, its eyes turn red. Let's see. Black dragon rookeries. Love the idea of these giant lizards just being chased away by an old villager with a stick. Exactly. I would love to see that as a picture of like an old guy with a stick, like running at the camera, and a lizard like, you know, with his little tail out, like or even one of them in a pool just like rearing up like like it's like I hate you, and the old guy's just like, get out of my pool, dag nabbit. It's an old version of Moss. They're in my pool. I hope Moss is here. The peaks above the Strand, the noxious vents and acidic pools make the area completely uninhabitable for most beings, but are perfect for the rookeries of the local dragon population. They've established rookeries here and there, laying their eggs in the alkaline pools and moving to the more acidic pools as they near hatching. The heat and alkaline water separate the embryo from the shell and liquefy the layer between them, insulating it and suspending it safely. When they move their eggs to the acidic pools, this begins to dissolve the shells, and the maturing dragonling can then break it open more easily. Dragon eggs can mature safely without the use of the pools, but this process speeds up the gestation and hatching cycle dramatically. This is how we get black dragons. It's like ants from Archer. You want ants? This is how you get ants. You want a lot of black dragons? This is how you get a lot of black dragons. Let them have access to the pools. The Rambles. The remnants of the lush islands that used to shield the shining bay from the umbral sea. The Rambles are a nightmare maze of jagged basalt pillars and shattered reefs. Grix and his forces destroyed the islands, the temples on them, and followed all approaches from the sea to the bay. Only shallow draft vessels can navigate through these areas, leaving the inner villages of the Strand cut off from most major shipping except overland routes from Port Castor and Aqua Afore, which is going to be renamed to the modern name of Afor and Port Castra and Afor. Villagers ply these waters in their shallow-bottom craft, risking the treacherous waters in the pursuit of elusive moonfish. Those big fish, which, we had the picture of, with the little fin on top and bottom. Those guys. Ari's Cairn, the demigod son of Xander, the god of justice, confronted Grix's navy as it approached the Shining Bay. On the small island blocking access to the inlet were two temples, one to Thalassi and one to Xander, Ari's father. He and his father's paladins fought the god's navy and shore forces to a standstill until Grix himself arrived. After a short battle, the god of trickery unleashed his god-killing breath on the young warrior, not only killing him but destroying both the temples and the islands they were built on. After his body washed ashore, his remaining followers mournfully carried it into the hills above the coast and built him a great cairn facing the sunrise. To this day, the mound is adorned by tiny violet Arinthian blooms, a symbol of his long-dead knighthood. Giant remains. The evil giants who sided with Grix were at the vanguard of the army that besieged the Caustic Strand during the God-Killer War. None of the immense warriors survived the assault, Xander's son, the demigod Ari, being particularly adept at battling them. Today, their oversized weapons, armor, and even their bones are unearthed in the search for minerals and treasures across the Strand. More than one dwelling, village, or fort features a giant skull, a weapon, or bones as either decorations or as part of functional architecture, reminding all who see them of the brutality of the ancient conflict. I just see two old men sitting on barrels, playing chess on top of something. It turns out it's a giant skull, just set into the ground. Port Castra. Port Castra is a major deepwater port of the Republic and is where most of the Ephorian merchant houses have their villas, warehouses, and bases of power. It is a sprawling Agrian city which was spared much of the devastation of the God-Killer War, but has become much less important to non-merchants due to its distance from the rest of the Godlands. Before the war, it was a major port and trade hub between Thalassia and Western Godlands. Since the destruction of the Sea Queen's beloved kingdom, I'm trying to decide if I should say beloved kingdom to the east. Trade often goes through the smaller but bustling capital and port of Afor. I think I'm going to say it, yeah. To the east, trade often goes through the smaller but bustling capital port of Afor. Okay. Always found the idea of something fantastical being mundane to people hilarious. Yeah, I think it could be entertaining to, somebody is moving stuff around out their woodshed. They pull like a big oilcloth off of something to move it aside, and you're like, wait, are those giant bones? Oh, yeah, we dug those up last spring, and we just put them under here. There's like a femur the size of like a big timber and a skull and stuff just sitting under a big tarp next to their house. And you're like, okay. You never know what they could be useful for, right? Let's see. The orchards of Port Castor are known far and wide for their bounty. Olives, pomegranates, stone fruit, and nuts being the major exports. So we're talking here, this area. And in fact, since I was doing this earlier, I'm going to do this here too. And take this. We're going to green up this area a little bit. Because this area was spared some of that horror. And so it's gonna be a little greener than other areas. There we go. So we got a little bit of green amongst all the horror and the devastation that happened here in the Rambles. All right, so... Oh, somehow that city name got moved. Wonder what I did. At some point, I think I accidentally grabbed a hold of more than one city and moved their names. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I'm good at it. It's like falling out of the world in games. I can do it. We need to expand the farm, follow these while turning the earth. Exactly. You just have a little picture of somebody plowing, and there's like being a huge, like, thigh bone sticking up out of the ground with his plow fouled on, and him just like, with his, scratching his head and holding onto his hat, like, what do we do? I'm getting great ideas for all these little pictures that I can't draw because I'm bad at it. But we'll get another artist to do that kind of stuff. And of course, those two old men playing chess on the top of a giant skull that's stuck on the ground, just sitting there thinking about their chess game or their whatever Roman game. They just have to have those whistling things all over around and sitting on the things, watching them, like staring at them, like, is that food? Is that food? A4, the capital of the Republic of A4, has doubled in size in the last 1,000 years, swelling past its original Agrian walls, which is over here. Boop, boop, boop. Agrian walls necessitating more than one port expansion. Statler and Waldorf. Hey, there you go. With a Kermit in the background, running around being chased by him. There we go. I like it. A4 oversees the majority of the mineral and salt exports from the entire kingdom, and most of the major trading houses have secondary headquarters here, retaining their luxurious ancestral villas in the lands surrounding Port Castra as their home bases. So what that basically means is the merchant houses are over here in Port Castra. They have all of their shipping and all of their information and everything there. They're old villas and the old money and the old houses, but they also, in A4, they have new places, new homes, the new rich. The great bathhouses of A4, some owned privately, are a sight to behold, and visits to them bring a great deal of wealth into the city. We talked about those earlier. The city also boasts temples to all the known gods, and even one to the keepers, though the Temple of Grix is considered cursed ground, and few venture there or dare to disturb its darkened halls. Arisium. The city of Arisium was founded not long after the God-Killer War ended, originally being the semi-permanent vicus of an Agrian army camp where Ari's forces were stationed. And Arisium is up here on the edge of the really destroyed part of everything. Oh, I should do something really quick. I'm just thinking to myself here that we need to paint this water with one of those them there icky colors we got, because it'll come down, and there is some fresh water up there, but we will get to is this the icky water one? I'm trying to remember which one I used. Let's try it once. Yeah, we're gonna foul this water down here when it gets farther down into the stream. So it's gonna be foul. All the water along here is gonna have some foulness to it, just a bit. It's gonna be icky. It's not gonna be as clear and blue and beautiful as everywhere else. We'll even just color a little bit there. We'll just make it a little icky looking. So the water's not so clear and clean and beautiful all along this area. Because, well, there's a lot of crap in the water around here from all this stuff. All right. Anyway. City of Arisium up here. which is near these big cairns. Founded not long after the God-Killer War ended, originally being the semi-permanent vicus of an Agrian army camp where Ari's forces were stationed. After Ari, the demigod, son of the god Xander, was killed, he and his followers were laid to rest in the great cairn that overlooks the city. Pilgrimages are made here by faithful each year, both to the barrow and to the temples located there. The great farms of Verisium are the main producers of grains and foodstuffs for the Strand. The road to Silbermont in the north is guarded by manned mile forts standing vigil against the darkness of the Whitewood, which is not a place you want to hang out. It's dark. It's evil. It's bad. West of the city stands an Arisium trading post that interacts mainly with the dwarven caravans traveling between Silbermont and Silverton. So there's a little tiny fort there. Oh, wait, where did we put Silverton? Did we remove Silverton? Ooh, I may have found a city I need to be... Do I have to put it back on here? I'm going to make a note to myself about that. I could have sworn we had this... Indonis, Racha, Barrow, Aldholm. Where did we put it? It's not hooked to that stuff because we don't have the road connected here. Oh. Where did I end up? Oh, there's Silverton. There it is. I was like, I could have sworn I had this all figured out because they go all the way down through this massive area on the Agrian roads all the way to Silverton, which is the big trade point between Greenhaven and Fryland and this whole area. And it's a dwarven... or it's an outpost that has a lot of dwarven stuff in it. Okay, good. I'm not crazy. See, look, I went back in and rewrote some of this stuff. Sulis, one of the little villages on the coast here. I really enjoy going through, when I get all this stuff down, kind of going through this and digging into it and rereading it to see if it makes any sense. Sulis, home to more baths and maidens than any other town on the Strand, it is the epicenter of a great deal of ambient volcanic activity. Since the end of the God-Killer War, the baths and hot springs have remained usable, with few dangerous variations, making it one of the most stable sources for such services and amenities. So I'm not doing a ton more talking about this place. I'm leaving it basic. Savis, the next one. Named after the river bearing the same name, this village tends to produce a great deal of shellfish for export as well as great amounts of freshwater pearls in the isolated harbor that formed here after the coastal devastation. Only shallow skips can tread the ways between it and the saltwater beyond, but this allows the pearl farmers to ply their trade in the sheltered waters. Depths of the coastal harbor hold the ruins of the original port of Savis, which was destroyed... My cats. Destroyed by Grix and sank beneath the waves. Divers often swim in and out of these ancient ruins as they hunt. Yesterday, I don't know who did it or how they did it, because the sunroom has French doors going in and out of it, and I leave the French doors open. And I usually put, there's an air purifier sitting in the doorway, so it's in the way of one of the doors moving. If they knock it over, it makes a loud noise. The other one, I usually just have a little doorstop under it. It's just a little piece of cardboard. They'll play with the cardboard occasionally. Somehow yesterday, I don't know how they did it, they closed both of the doors without knocking over the air purifier. They shoved it out of the way, they pushed it, they just moved the door enough that it moved it aside. And I hear this noise over and over. I'm like, what the hell is that? I go upstairs. 4 of the cats, 2 of them are sitting on the table just staring at me. The other 2 are at the doors we're trapped in here. You're trapped in the sunroom. Oh no. So, but yeah, they were frantic to get out, and I opened the door. They're immediately oh, thank goodness. And then they just kind of laid in the opening and were now we have the choice of going out. So who knows what they're doing up there right now. Hello, Fantastic Sarcastic. Would I say I have a pile of cats? I have a clouder of cats. By the way, Max is inside today. He came back in all Hey, I want to be inside, just covered in mud. He didn't want to let me wipe him off either because he's very defensive about that. So I got some of the mud off his paws, but he was sleeping on the back of the couch, and I kind of got his paws a little more wiped off. And immediately after that, he just was like, oh, I'm awake now. I'm going to go torment everybody. He was just being a jerk all day. I think he's being a jerk again. A Meowton. Horrible. Let's see. Depths of the coastal harbor hold the ruins of the original port of Savius, which was destroyed by Grix and sank beneath the wave. Divers often swim in and out of these ancient ruins as they hunt. Okay. Dubris, the next one. A little more towards the foot of the mountain. Ancient shipbuilding center of A4, the master shipwrights of Dubris were responsible for some of the greatest vessels used during the God-Killer War. Destroyed utterly by Grix and his forces in their incursion, it was rebuilt after the war. While ships are still built here, its main agricultural exports are stone fruit and olives from their extensive orchards, as well as olive oil and other such staples. The stone quarries of Dubris are known far and wide for their marble. And the caustic strand is known best for their food, or for the food that they're known best for is salted fish, olives, and fortified wines. Boop. She's saying to leave. I'm sorry, you gotta leave, buddy. You're done. I think she fired you. Ba ba ba. I am gonna go check on them in a second here to see if they did knock something over and they're running around in circles trying to get out of a room or doing something. I don't know what they're up to. They're doing things. You just got home. You couldn't pun until... Wait, you couldn't pun until now. Why weren't you able to pun earlier? Oh, God. Live streaming the cats would probably, like, just be them trying to murder each other for no apparent reason. Just like, hey, we're going to jump off a thing onto each other. Sometimes I think I'm better off not knowing what kind of wrestling moves they're pulling off. Jumping off of the mantle down onto each other. Mm-hmm. Very nice, fantastic, sarcastic. Well, you are more hated than most right now, but that's okay. Hello, Cajun Corey. All right, we're going to go on to the Umbral Atoll. Atoll, however you pronounce it. I don't know which way is the proper pronunciation. The Umbral Atoll is an island that I have a separate map for, but I'm not loading it up right now because I'm in the middle of this one. That is approximately here. So it's near the equator of the planet, well across all this sea, surrounded by a magical storm that has never dissipated for the last 1,000 years because the goddess put it there. Fantastic, sarcastic, always getting fired. You're right, Dave. Let's see. The major conflict here is that there are lawless lands and it's magical storms everywhere. There is no capital city, but the largest city on the island is Port Calyx. The ruler or the government of this place is mostly tribal. The dialects are common and lizard folk. Religion, Zirath, Eridor, and Patron. Excuse me. The demonym of the place is the Umbral folk or the Islanders. The people don't talk about them a whole lot because nobody really believes, for the most part, that there is an island in there. Umbral Atoll is a place of legend whispered of in ports far and wide across Erudia. I could say Erudia or the Godlands. The Godlands? I want to say the Godlands. I'm going to leave it. And while it does in fact exist, only madmen would seek to reach its cursed shores. To do so requires one to pass through Thalasia's Ire, the eternal magical hurricane which rages in the Central Sea, and on through the Dead Breaks. It's not the Central Sea. It's the Umbral Sea. And on through the Dead Breaks, a fabled maze of half-submerged basalt spikes and natural coral hazards. Some joke that it's a place the gods forgot, leaving behind some of their more monstrous creations. Others believe it's sort of a purgatorium of sorts, a place where only those taken by the sea suffer before they can pass, or a place where those taken by the sea suffer before they can pass on to their eternal reward or damnation. Truth is a story both more terrifying and more astounding than these whispered legends can do justice to. You don't even get a hello, just told to leave. Wah, wah. Okay, we will play the sad Incredible Hulk music of you just walking off down the road hitchhiking. Man, that's a lot of cats. There must be like 3 or 57 of them. Something like that. A thunderstorm of cats. Well, I have hardwood floors in the house, so even Pumpkin just running across chasing Mary Doc sounds like, I don't know, like there's a pony loose up there. And since this is an unfinished basement, it's literally joists. It's like a 9-foot ceiling. It's joist and subfloor right there. That's right there. So they make a lot of noise, especially if they go in the sunroom, because that's tile. So that's even more fun. Let's see, Port Calyx. This city is built on the ancient ruins of a Krr port, the KRR port, long overgrown and dominated by massive strands of the ubiquitous Rawl flowers. Its bowl-shaped shelters inhabitants from both torrential rains and deadly currents, making it one of the only safe harbors on the Umbrella Atoll. The sheltered Rawl flowers harvested here are used in many of their brewing recipes, making them one of the most important resources of the area. Mainly populated by human castaways and pirates, with a small contingent of Kruru traders and crafters mixed in. This is one of the only civilized locations on the island. The Dead Breaks. One of the non-magical obstacles to reaching the atoll is a thick maze of half-submerged basalt spikes that are liable to tear asunder the hull of most vessels which wander into them. Some of the denizens of the atoll have maps which are supposed to lay out safe paths through the breaks, but they are jealously guarded. The Kruru. The Kruru are amphibious bipeds descended from an advanced race known as the Krr, who ruled the atoll in ancient times. Their kingdom was thrown into ruin because of their obsession with the magic of the Keepers. A human empire built on the ruins of their works flourished on the atoll for generations before falling under the sway of Grix during the Godkiller War, eventually becoming his soul forged. Did I get a new camera? No, same camera. I got a new camera many months ago, yeah. It was I had an old Logitech, now I have an Anchorworks, like it's a 4K HD camera. And I also changed the way my room works now. So I can do things like this. I can go far away. In fact, I gotta take this off because I'm too warm. There, look at that. Me throwing things, knocking the green screen around, making shadows, walking around, doing things. Oh, look, you can see things down here, like where I tossed my sweatshirt to because it didn't land where I put it. There we go. Much better, right? So I can go far away and I can come right back. I can do all the things. Marvel needs to use the Hulk to advertise more. He's one big banner. Very nice. Fantastic roguish worrying. Yeah, that is sarcastic. Should tell the story of my rogue. I'll catch the end next Tuesday. Yeah. Wow, Dave, that's great. I like to tell stories that aren't always true. Is it even Umbral at all? I don't know. What's Umbral? What is Umbral? What is even Umbral? Let's see. Where was I at? Oh, the Kruru. They're mainly peaceful, semi-nomadic people who maintain underwater villages as well as a massive floating city that migrates around the island, or the atoll, riding the currents created by Thalassia's ire. It's Thalassa. The other groups on the island all trade with the Kruru, and as such, they are considered off-limits in their conflicts. We're going to hyphenate that. Ruins of their forebears, the Krr, are extensive and magical. Some of their obelisks will still stand, and legends speak of their ability to control minds, time, and even the weather. Barbarian tribes. The lizard folk on the atoll are generally part of one of the 4 major tribes, each ruled over by a powerful patron. The Ash tribe lives in and around the Kakarrak, the active volcano at this island center. They worship their patron, Pyrothraxus, the legendary ruby dragon who lives within its throat. This tribe includes a sizable contingent of kobolds who are fanatically devoted to their patron. Fanatic kobolds. Fanatic fire-loving kobolds. Fanatic fire-loving kobolds who worship a legendary ruby dragon. What could go wrong? Spider tribe. Located in the deep eastern jungles on the atoll, this tribe worships Yixilith, the legendary primordial spider. Emulating her brood, the spider tribe favors using poison on their weapons and employing ambush tactics against their foes. Each year, when Yixilith eggs hatch and skyfall occurs, most inhabitants of the island who are not of the tribe go into hiding, as her brood is flung across the Godlands and Erudia by the winds of Thalas's ire. Her followers revel in her supremacy. So basically, you know how at the end of Charlotte's Web, the wind could blow the eggs, or all the eggs came out, but then I think there was unless I'm misremembering, there was a wind that blew the little spiders around. This is a horrifying version of that, where she hatches her brood and the storms throw them and pull them into the sky, and they're scattered across the Godlands to populate everything with these horrible primordial spiders. So yay, Skyfall! Spiderfall. Everybody's just like, ooh, there's something falling to the ground. Oh god, it's spiders! Snake tribe. Found in the southern reaches of the island along the coast, the snake tribe does most trade with the Kruru and are the least warlike of all the tribes, preferring to eat and celebrate their victories to excess. Their fierce and ruthless warriors, once roused, their lightning-fast strikes can devastate their foes. They worship their patron, the great serpent Zmia, who slumbers in a great outdoor amphitheater once built by the Kerr in ages past. The tribe employs more than one Hydra as defenders of their great hordes of treasure hidden in the ancient ruins of the fallen civilization. This thing. I forgot I turned that on for Calvino. I was like, why are my feet getting so warm? Heat mat. All right, the dinosaur tribe, which I may change the name from just dinosaur tribe to something. This is the smallest but most feared of the barbarian tribes on the atoll. Their main fortress is built on the ruins of an ancient stronghold. I'm going to look up something really quickly. Okay, that was where I put that city. Okay, good. I can delete those. Bang. And close some tabs here. Free up some stuff on my screen. There we go. It is quiet over on Kick. So quiet on Kick. Anyway, dinosaur tribe. This is the smallest but most feared of the barbarian tribes on the atoll. Their main fortress is built on the ruins of an ancient Kerr stronghold. Not only does their patron, the great Spinosaurus Gogora, slumber here, but the grounds feature a functioning obelisk from the heyday of the forebears of the Kruru. When activated, its power helps be... Oh, it helps with being... Yeah, I did type this right. When activated, its power helps with being linked their minds with a compatible animal mount, allowing the tribe members to patrol and go into battle mounted atop great raptors or soar the skies on the backs of agile aviasaurs. The Simi. These ferocious, cannibalistic primates battle any and all comers on the island, caring little about where their next meal comes from. They use simple weapons and bare hands to take down their foes, relying on their speed and brute strength in battle. There's algae and seaweed grogs, shellfish liquor, moonfish roe, bug patés, all kinds of fun stuff on this island. Now, there are a few other things I'm going to add to this entry, and I have noticed them. So I'm going to move this stuff down. Well, do I need to move it down? Yeah, I'll move it down here to the end. Yeah. There's a couple more entries I have ready that I haven't put in here yet. But anyway, Kur, the ancient forebears of the Kururu, these advanced amphibian bipeds, built settlements which stretched across the entirety of the atoll. They delved deep into the mana stream and utilized the forbidden lore of the keepers to build their society. It led to their downfall and the eradication of most of their lore and accumulated knowledge when their own creations destroyed their cities. The ruins still stand on the atoll, a testament to their skill and the enhancements used in their creation, and to the hubris which led to their destruction. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to Patrick? Who's Patrick? Remnants of their constructs remain intact as well. Massive shafts filled with enchanted machinery lead deep into the island's firmament, which still provide functioning geothermal power to some of their surviving creations. Right. Ba-ba-ba. That works. All right, I'm going to go check out the cats in a second here. So you're going to have chair stream for a moment. Chair stream! I'll be right back. Go see. They're being quiet now, so it's probably fine. That might have been a mistake. I'm not sure. I may have roused the sleeping giant here. I may have made them interested in being awake again because a couple of them were laying down and I came up and they're like, oh. Like, oh no. What have I done? All hail the chair. Kekarax? No. Chair stream. Social batteries low? I got all the social batteries or something like that. Maybe. Maybe not. Fendolin and below. Where was I at? Oh, I was going to start in on rereading Senna's Fall. The Scar. So we're going to go to that part of the map. Yep, now they're running around again. Dang it, I should have just left them alone. Should have just left them all alone. Oops. All right. The major conflict of this place is political rivalries. Capital is Rivenmont, and the largest city is Rivenmont. It is a theocracy ruled by the church. The dialects are common and Dwarven. The religia is Senna and Vulcan, for obvious reasons. They are usually called Valefolk or Senites. Not Cenobites, Senites. Commonly known as the Scar, this deep and jagged red rock canyon is where Senna's form crashed to the surface of Erudia after being mortally wounded by Grick's breath weapon. Canyon features a muddy river that is tinged red-brown from the heavy iron oxide deposits in the area. The heavy red clay and iron oxide deposits in the area. When the rainy season hits, also believed to be the season in which she was killed, the river runs red, but it's mainly due to the heavy iron oxide-rich clay that erodes into it from the rains. Meow! It's gonna be cat rain. In the wake of her fall, the Vale became a refuge for many humans and dwarves alike. The freshly revealed rock faces rich in iron they could use to arm and defend themselves with. As the war drew on, it was apparent that Grix avoided the area of his love's fall, making it a natural place for refugees to gather. Rivenmont is the human and dwarven mining and craft outpost near Senna's Fall. Founded by the humans during the war to support the efforts, it now honors a local dwarven hero who gave her life saving a group of human refugees. Politics surrounding her sacrifice have both united and divided the humans and dwarves who reside in the surrounding area. The area is rich not only in iron and clay, but also much rarer killer-touch varieties of the two. Rivenmont is best known by travelers for its dwarven inns and their wonderful meads, though mercenaries and adventurers often frequent their shops and smiths for their metal goods as well. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure when he's planning on talking about the mythic characters. That is a good question. Let's see. Clayton. The Clay Town. Home to the richest and most varied clay deposits in the area, this town has become known far and wide for its production of all manner of both everyday and luxury pottery and ceramics. Clayton is also home to the rebirth of the active Church of Senna, the dead goddess the region is known for. Until now, their methods have been somber, pitiful, focusing on the loss of their goddess. The new movement is focusing on her transformative power and reveling in the beauty her sacrifice brought to the world. The figurehead that has ignited the renewed debate is currently on the run from the former church leaders as a heretic, but he wanders the land preaching her message regardless. Alright, we get to Littleford. On the western edge of Senna's Fall, Littleford is a trade post and village in one, boasting a massive market for all manner of goods produced in the dells and valleys around the lake. I should say canyon. We'll say canyon. Traders from Austin regularly purchase goods here for the markets in Fryland and beyond. So Austin is here with their little trade post. Down south is Austin Walled. Totally different city, but similar name. Clay is fun. High Spring, a halfling village to the south of Littleford and just across the river from Austinwald. High Spring is home to numerous artesian springs used by the locals in anything from health tonics to age whiskeys. People of High Spring are watched over by a thorn-shrouded magical tower that no one has been able to penetrate in living memory, as well as what appears to be an ancient teleportation gate carved into a large exposed slab of stone near the tower. Always fun to put little things in there that people could play with in their adventures. God Killer magic. Residual magic from the God Killer breath weapon used on Senna has seeped into the earth, rock, and water of the Vale in places, infusing various materials and wildlife with unusual properties. Infused clay. Local artificers can use the infused clay to craft enchanted items, but harvesting it is incredibly dangerous, as it is found formed near pockets of leftover god-killing fire. Mistakes while harvesting have led to the deaths of many a miner. God-killer honey. Dwarves of the area are particularly adept at the keeping of the underground firefly bees native to the area. The rich honey from these bees is mainly used in the production of meads and similar products by the dwarves. Certain hives harvest their nectar from honey pots, peculiar fungal growth that have sap reservoirs on their tops. Firefly bees are symbiotes with them and don't get trapped. Instead, they create a particularly valuable type of honey that is waxy and opaque with the fungal secretions they gather. Some firefly beehives have been affected by the God Killer magic. And the bees in them have become aggressive, territorial, and lethal. Harvesting their honey is only done after such a hive has been killed off. The God-Killer honey is worth more than its weight in precious metal and is rumored to be one of the ingredients of the fabled nuggets of Nya. Dwarven towers, out of place amongst the timber and clay brick structures of the humans and small folk of Senna's Fall, are the squat but imposing dwarven defensive towers in the Vale. Primarily for defense, each is positioned over an entrance to caverns and mines in the area, allowing access to not only escape tunnels but work areas as well. Made of dark stone quarried in the Rimewall Mountains to the north, they stand out starkly in contrast to the homely buildings of the Vale folk. Let's see, so for their food we put down that they have dwarven mead, stews, potato dishes, hearty if bland foods. Gavrax, the Arbiter. Known as the Arbiter, this aged gold dragon is known far and wide, though most of the tales about him and his horde are just that, tales. Few living mortals have met him face to face, and those that he grants an audience to are generally only the most powerful, influential, and wealthy of their kind. He adores arguments, debates, and decorum, and binds all the disputes to rigid rules before he will entertain their cases. He's exceedingly cunning, cagey, and likes everyone to understand just how clever he is, and keen supplicants can play on that flaw to maneuver him into an audience. In addition, though only one being is aware of this, he was wounded in the God-Killer War and can no longer fly. His right wing was rendered useless by Grick's God-Killer breath, and by the grace of Davila and her magics, he maintains a fantastic illusion of his scarred form appearing whole. His dietary needs are met by his loyal subjects, a cult-like group of priests who have taken him on as their patron. They administer to his mortal guests as well as they have the duty of patrolling, or as well as having the duty to patrol the halls of his lair in the Blessed Hills. Ah, poor Gavrax. He's a war vet. Oh, there's a cat butt. Look, cat butt. A little hard to see. It's not showing the color variations because of the way I had the camera set up. But that's yep, there he goes, cat butt. He's about to go. Yeah, he's going into the cat house there. You see him disappearing? He's like, zerp. Right into the heated cat house. The camera went into black and white night mode, so that's why it looks so shiny. Eat the Gavrax? Yes, eat it. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. The Azure Kingdom. Spark of the Divine drives us all, some to madness, some to greatness, a select few to both. That's their lovely kingdom in a nutshell. Major conflict of the Azure Kingdom is internal wars with warlords and the orc tribes on the eastern border. The capital is Knezef. The largest city is also Knezef. It is a kingdom with a common dialect who worship Oriel, Vulcan, Mordecai, and Orin, and they're called either Azurians or Azarians. With potatoes, what's taters? Azure Kingdom is a landscape of severe beauty, sweeping sodalite deserts of shimmering blue sand studded with lush oases and azure rivers. Ancient land that has its roots in worship of Oriel and Orin, the chief god and goddess of the Erudian pantheon. The Azure Kingdom has given birth to some of the most famous and infamous wizards in Erudia's history. So I can do something here. I can swap this to nothing, because this is the name that you knuckleheads chose. I mean, you wonderful, wonderful people. You wonderful people, you. Kings of old revered peace, love, and wisdom above all else, and this led to them Oh, I have an extra word in here. That's what I read. This led them to add vast stretches of land to their domain with few conflicts. Working alongside some of the great sapphire dragons of legend, the Azurians erected cyclopean canal networks to irrigate and fertilize vast swaths of their kingdom. So, the kingdom used to be much more fertile. Right now, this is the only part of the kingdom that's really got anything left to it that's fertile. This river is dried up. Acadia is dried up back there. Everything's damaged and falling apart here. It's just a horror show. Let's see. Colossal monuments and temples were built to both the gods and these dragons, and eventually magical defenses were erected to protect the kingdom's borders once Xerath came to the world, fomenting conflict and war. Davila fanned jealousy in the hearts of the Azure Kingdom's enemies, and war came to their lands. For centuries before the God-Killer War, the Azure Kingdom was assailed by the Orcs, Acadia, and other petty kingdoms surrounding her. They fought them to a standstill, but it cost them more and more each year, and their flourishing kingdom slowly suffered for it. Their great projects lay abandoned, their vast farms withered, reclaimed by the unrelenting sands. When the God-Killer War came, they at first welcomed all refugees of their kingdom, but soon realized they could not support such a massive influx and sealed their borders. Aid was requested time and again by Agrium and Thalassia, but the Azure Kingdom stayed sealed off, hoping to weather the conflict. To this day, many people of the Godlands look with disfavor on the people of the Azure Kingdom for refusing to stand against Grix. You want to get some water and return to cannibalism talk? What the heck? Flesh meat? Maybe. You know, I started playing a game that Tomek said, oh, it's interesting. He was playing it. It's like RimWorld, but it's like Northland Kingdoms. It's called Norland. I'm not really into that kind of game, but I thought I'd try it. And one of the ways you can make another king friends with your king is to go on a hunt together. And you hunt flesh wolves. I don't know why they call them flesh wolves. Are they supposed to be werewolves? What are you actually hunting? The hell is a flesh wolf? There is a sect of the Brotherhood of the Gilded Veil. Anywhere you can think of, there's going to be one. They may not have a tower specifically there, but there is a tower and sealed things near High Spring, which may or may not be part of an old something or other from the Brotherhood of the Gilded Veil. Maybe. It could be someone else. Could be another group of wizard type people. You can't keep track of what jokes you've been told. I wouldn't. Flesh wolves. Wolves. Woo. We're swearwolves. I mean, wait, no, we're werewolves, not swearwolves. That's it. What was they doing here? Oh, yeah, they took the disfavor of the people, blah, blah, refusing to stand against Grix. Sapphire dragons did go to war against Grix and paid a heavy price for it, their kind becoming all but extinct. One of their number was entombed by the last great king of the Azure Kingdom after she gave her life to power the great defenses that kept the land safe during the God-Killer War. Unable to reach into the kingdom with his armies, Grix indirectly sent catastrophes and curses their way. The most lasting one is the influence wrought by his moon as it passes over their lands. The Great Desert is directly influenced by the tidal pull of Grix's moon, causing deadly sand tides, talc storms, and showering the land with meteors caught in its wake. Hey, I never finished the entry to Knesef. I gotta fix that. Do it. Yeah, if you've never seen What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, the vampires get in a little tussle with some werewolves down on the waterfront, and they start yelling at each other. And one of the werewolves starts getting upset, and he starts kind of almost wolfing out, and he says something rude to one of them. He says a swear word at them. He's like, what I told you? We're werewolves, not swearwolves. He's like, I'm sorry. It just got the better of me. So, yeah. Werewolves. It was a big setup for a small joke. You told the joke the other night, and Nugget laughed at it. What? Adari is an ancient city which oversees all the farm estates in the valley of Arui. The administrators here handle the rotation of crops between the estates, the planting schedules, and the distribution of food to the rest of the kingdom's cities under the watchful eye of the administrators from Knesef. Adhen, what did they do there? Oh, there we go. Has always been and continues to be the spiritual and physical retreat for the kings of the Azure Kingdom. Up here in this little basket. Their ancient villas, palaces, and homesteads dot the hillsides, all still utilized by current nobility and relations of the ruling class. Commonly known as the City of Scribes, Adhen's inner city is a maze of libraries, magical schools, and forums for debate. Aditza, City of the Dead River as it's called, still manages to cling to existence due to the deep wells and springs that were dug when the river itself began drying during the God-Killer War. Scholars attributed the death of the river source to Grix's agents, but have never been able to discern the true cause of the catastrophe. Some believe the evil act was perpetrated to disable the magical protection around the great burial tomb of Ka'itza, which they believe was fueled by the living waters of the river, which is this place out on this little island. Admun, city on the edge of the world, is commonly believed to be the furthest inhabited western point of the Godlands. Way over here. Way to the left. Founded long ago to support the great quarries in the hills to the north, it also houses a significant population of gnomes who are experts at mining the hidden and abandoned bug people hives. Hills around Admun attract bug people, pilgrimages, as their ancient wind towers, which play haunting melodies, are still standing here and there. Big termite mound looking stone and packed earth things that kind of whistle in the wind. Doo, doo, doo. Ah, thank you for the Legend Seeker link. Very nice, very nice. She just hides behind her teapot. She's like, don't look at me, I'm not laughing. We know that behind that teapot, she's just giving that face, that horrified face of moss eating cheese banana or something. All right. Chais, ancient tomb of Isavi, one of the earliest monarchs of the Azure Kingdom. It has never been plundered as it was built near one of the mysterious keeper towers that lie scattered throughout the desert. The tower itself radiates otherworldly levels of magic and repulses all who approach the tower and the temple's entrance with lethal force. No one knows how they managed to build the tomb there, as the tower has existed long before the Azure Kingdom was founded. And Charis, that was a monstrosity. Well, you know. Charis is the great pyramidal tomb of one of the Sapphire Dragon matrons who fell during the God-Killer War. This is an open temple to her memory, right here. Supplicants can visit the site, offer prayers to the gods at the many shrines in the temple complex, and even, for a hefty fee, enter the tomb and gaze down upon the mummified remains of Rhys al-Vox, the Shining Queen, also known as Voxilumia in the common tongue. She gave her life force to power the great defenses which were activated to hold Grix's force at bay and seal the kingdom from the Godlands during the war. Disgusted Secretary Nugget. You mean this base? Leave! She said it. She said leave. She did. Alright, so Chakal, this long valley houses hundreds of great tombs, most having been plundered long ago. New entrances are found often, though, and treasures continue to be unearthed, even though the penalty for setting foot here is swift death. Don't go there. Don't do it. Don't do it, people. Yeah, there's Kakal. Kaiza. Temple complex on the island of Kaiza houses some of the mummified hearts of the Azurian heroes and Sapphire Dragons who fell during the early days of the God-Killer War. It is warded with powerful magic summoned by the priests of Mordecai, and the seals of the vaults within have remained intact for over 1,000 years, unfazed by the death of the river, which was thought to be powering them. So yeah, if you can ever get in there, you get some people and dragon hearts. Khufa is way over here in the west. Isolated scholarly temple and complex, Khufa is dedicated to the study of the afterlife and the heavens, and more than one elven scholar makes their home here. Isolated and protected for the most part from the ravages of Grixfall, this site supposedly has records in most written languages, their collection of knowledge rivaling, some say surpassing, the lexicon in Agrium. Humanis. So, yeah, there's a lot of weird places in here, aren't there? So, Ukelos is 3 league forth, and Humanis is way up here. I don't know if I even had... Yeah, I have it on the map. Okay. The great twin temples to Oriel and Orin flank this mountain entrance, which holds a great vault door that no man or god can open. It is believed to be a keeper's vault, though no one knows what secrets it contains. So yeah, keeper's vault. Right up there. Maybe. She just wants everyone to leave so she has less work. Hail! Hey, Shadow Warden. Oh, I'll go there. He didn't get hit by anyone. He didn't fall in the ice. Or he's laying on the ice just typing to us and being calm about it. I don't know. All right. Hellos. Down here, straddling this little area, known as the 3-league fort. Oops, I should probably put the other letter in here. Hellos is actually a nearly 10-mile-long wall with multiple forts along its length, the largest of which doubles as the gateway into the Azure Kingdom from the Eastern Godlands. Constructed of blue-hued sodalite granite, the ancient and imposing structure has kept foes at bay for much of the history of the Great Kingdom's history. Much of the... We'll go... I guess I rewrote this sentence more than once. Yeah, we'll say much of the Great Kingdom's history, because I had that phrase in there twice. The wall's defensive capabilities are further reinforced with magical wards, which when activated were powerful enough to deter even Grix and his forces from entering the lands beyond. Such strength came at a price, however. The great Sapphire Dragon matron Resalvox giving her life to power the construct, which is the dragon who's laid to rest up here in Caris. Wall is manned at all times by forces of the Kingdom's Guard, but the magical defenses have not been activated since the Godkiller War ended. It is rumored that few remain alive who even know the way to activate the defenses, let alone understand how it works. It's Scott. We got a Scott, we got a Dragon, we got a Dave, we got a Crescent, we got a Shadow Warden. We've had a Cajun Corey in here, a Fantastic Sarcastic. Let's see, Two's Nose. What else do we have in here? Cajun Corey I mentioned. Haven't heard from a Bap or a Moss. All those people. But then again, I think it's Tuesday, so they're probably pirating right now, aren't they? You're still here. Very good, very good. Ukyut, an ancient fortress, and ancient fortress. How about an ancient fortress on the northern edge of the kingdom? Ukyut is a ruin abandoned at the end of the Godkiller War. It was once home to the great war priests who maintained the ward stones and guarded against incursion from the wastes. The ward stones are no longer maintained, though the hum of power, or they hum with power all along the border. Their latent energy of Risalvok's sacrifice still alive within them. Think Pirates is later? For some reason... Oh, yeah, you're right. Pirates doesn't start till like 8, does it? Oh, well then Moss has no reason not to be in here saying hi. My goodness. Or Savage Talk. Or any of those chuckleheads. Well, those... JT's probably, Conaning or something right now. Let's see. Legends persist of a magical spring within the depths of the fortress that helped purify the priests against the corruption of the mana stream, as well as the magnificent armory that once held their... we'll say legendary weaponry. There we go. Maybe he's eating the banana. It could be. Tarkin makes mistakes and one day his hubris will get him blown up. Well, he might. Chuckleheads. Yeah, chuckleheads. We're going with chuckleheads. Is that too harsh? Should I have called them cotton-headed ninny muggins, maybe? A little softer? I don't want to go so far as to call them something mean like Misfit Toys or something like that. I don't know. Ushnahal, the great river that comes from Mount Zintor and feeds the plains of the Azure Kingdom until it reaches the sea in the Great Delta. And then Grixfall. When Grixfall happens, the race is on in the desert. Yeah, this section I have to expand quite a bit because explaining how Grixfall works and happens, I've got to go into that. So I'm not even going to read that paragraph. The Black Barge. The Black Barge is going to be fun. A massive platform that rides the sand tides of the Azure Kingdom, the barge is a pirate's haven that never stays long in one place. If one can find it and can convince them to grant them access, one can find many a forbidden commodity and pleasure here for a hefty price. All right, Corey, get out of here. I mean, see you later. Be safe. Conan the Kindergarten Cop. Conan the Librarian was a good skit. If you've ever seen VHF. At least I think it was from VHF. This is from VHF, right? Yeah, I think so. Veil of Glass. A massive impact site from the early God Killer War. Grixis forces crashed a massive meteor here. We're just going to say meteor here. And it punctured the crust, glassing the sands of the area into blue-black obsidian-like formations. Nothing grows or lives or visits this site, but elementals occasionally find their way to the material plane through the eternal blast furnace that roils at its center. Hall monitor. No, I'm pretty sure it was VHF. I can usually tell who's seen the movie when they actually say UHF. Though I do find it interesting that a lot of people, they've never heard of like RF connectors on the back of a TV. They've never seen one of those hookups, so that's how you would hook up a signal to like play a game on it, like an old game console, or why there were two knobs for channels on an old TV. I was like, oh, you just don't know. You just don't get it, man. That's the old technology, right? You know, old. No, it's UHF. I know things. Wait, why is my list here not have a dark? I have dark mode on. Why is it? Huh. Okay, I can't go to that page right now. That's too bright. All right, I'll skip my name page. I had it open because I was going to rename something here, but I'm not going to do that. It's too bright. Being from the south, I came from old land where everything was from yesteryear. I remember before bunny ears. Wait! The bunny ears with a little bit of foil on top. Man, having to have a screwdriver handy so you could loosen the little screws on the back of the TV to hook the little fork things there and screw them down tightly, make sure they have a good connection, and then switch the box between game and TV. Golden. Beautiful times. Twin lead screw terminals. Oh. Yeah, anybody that puts pineapple on pizza, it's just a mental issue. I know. It's just a mental issue. It's okay. It's all right. We'll be nice to you anyway. If it was accidental, like, oh no, I spilled pineapple on my pizza, then, it'd be just brush it off, throw it on the floor, and then, eat. But, I mean, putting it on there on purpose? I don't know. Though I have people in my family who do that. I don't talk about them. We keep them locked in the attic. Yes, make sure you didn't twist the fork thing and tear the cable. Oh, you gotta be careful. You just kept one by the TV. Yeah, at one point in my house, we had a couple of TVs. They were like the little tiny ones. We got one from my great aunt, and it was black and white. It was just a portable. Not portable. You picked it up and could move it because it was small and not a very big screen. And the main TV. And if you wanted to play games on that, nobody else could do anything or watch TV. So you'd have to unhook that thing. We'd move the the console somewhere else because we only had one console when we were little. It was a an orangey yellow Pong thing from like JCPenney or Magnavox or something like that, and it literally played Pong and Tank or something. Later on, when we had two TVs in the house and they were both color TVs, and we had one black and white TV that was in my brother's room, then we had to decide where we were hooking the Atari up to, because my brother brought an Atari back when he was in the Marine Corps, and he left it at the house for us to play games, and it was like, oh my gosh, 83 is the year to be alive. It was 84. I don't remember what year he brought that back. Anyway. No, I'm pretty sure that the illness was always there, just deep down inside. It had nothing to do with me locking them and depriving them of their freedom. Nope. Sat on top of the TV, I still have my old black and white TV. Oh, wow. Chrysanth can't say anything. You like hot sauce in your coffee. Yeah, that's all. That's what we know about Chrysanth. If she's known for anything, it's hot sauce in her coffee. Wait, how are we doing on time here? Oh, 6:45. Okay, we got time. I was like, wait a minute. Am I paying attention to the time? By the way, hi, Sassy Witch. All right, so we talked about Ushnahal, the river. We talked about the Veil of Glass, and then the gem mines. The land beneath the sands is rich with metals, gems, and other treasures, and the bug people that live here occasionally tunnel through them, enjoying the bright and colorful veins while the colony survives. Once the colony dies out or moves on, these ready-made mining tunnels are highly sought after by enterprising traders. Once found, they hire diminutive and skilled halfling and gnome miners to plumb the depths of riches, their slight frames lessening the risk of collapse of the fragile tunnels. All right, who's beeping at me here? What are you cats doing out there? What the heck is that? I don't recognize this cat. Who are you, cat? Oh, that's the black and white cat that comes and visits once in a while. Okay. He or she is hanging out there with them. Got it. Let's see. Once higher, blah, 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 lessening the collapse of the fragile tunnels. Yes, there we go. Yep, 1983, when Return of the Jedi came out. Open air slave markets. Well, the next part I'm going to talk about here is the cat market. Cat market is a massive open air market with a sprawling city growing around it, always being added to, ever expanding. The original city was built in antiquity and spans about what looks to be a landlocked cenote of moderate depth. The shadows and the great number of bridges, sun sails, and buildings, both crossing the opening and dotting the rim, blocks most of the city, or most of the day's sunlight to the lower levels. As a result, it is much cooler at the lower levels and above. Operated and protected by the Order of the Black Lotus, devotees of Dabila, the city appears quite lawless until you transgress against one of the great rules. Minor offenses that are frowned upon in most civilized cities are ignored here. As such, wise visitors are usually armed and travel in groups. At the entrance of the market, inscribed on a great piece of black granite in multiple languages, the great rules are as follows. Cheat with honor or not at all. When cheating, only do so to those of equal footing unless they have wronged you. Kill only in righteous retribution. Death comes to all, but to hasten its descent upon an innocent for reasons other than revenge is the providence of the immortals. One lie for one truth. Mordecai abhors imbalance. Give a truth for each lie to keep his thumb from the scale when you are judged. So they have their own weird rules. Cats are a sacred animal to both Davila and Mordecai, and as a result, the market and city are overrun with them. It's considered bad form to harass or harm the felines, but not against the law. Most believe that you can bring the ire of both gods upon your head if you were to abuse them. The ruined city it was built on was technically never in the Azure Kingdom proper, but rather in a wild area that lacked natural resources. It's rumored that the original city was part of a lost kingdom called Amboe, which had numerous coastal cities, all of which were lost in a colossal flood, with this city the one left standing. It was supposedly supposedly fell under the weight of its own people as refugees poured in. The city was said to have also been abandoned more than 1,000 years ago, but the ruins remained a viable stop just a short ride from the main trade roads. Its close proximity to the main road through the Azure Desert led it to becoming a home for unscrupulous merchants selling their less than legal wares, all right under the nose of the Azure Kingdom. With the upheavals from the God-Killer War, underground cisterns were discovered, making the trade post a much more viable place to live year-round. Rulers of the Azure Kingdom exist in an uneasy truce with the free traders for the sake of peace and profit, a share of which they surreptitiously receive from the cat market each month. Nearly anything can be bought in the market if you know who to ask. From slaves to weapons, magical items to mundane spices, if it's worth something, you'll likely find a seller or buyer for it there. So there you go. I don't recognize this cat equals too many cats. Boop, boop, boop. Not sure what you mean, but you don't recognize this cat too many cats. Oh, it's because it's a cat that is not my cat. It's a cat that just comes by and hangs out. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but it hangs out occasionally. I've seen it 3 times during the winter. Along with the other 2 cats that come by, the little caramel-colored cat and the little calico that runs around with him. I don't know if it's his little sister, or if they're from the same, if they are from the same litter, or if they're a couple. I have no idea. They're just cats. Noble trade. Dave will be a pimp. All right. Lost Thalassia. There's not a lot to write about this one. The major conflict? None. Capital Ilaris, the largest city is Ilaris. It was a theocracy. The dialect was common. And they worshipped Thalassa, and they're called the Thalassians. The shattered chain of islands was once home to the beloved of Thalassa, her chosen people. Faithful worshippers of the sea goddess, their navy was stronger than even Agrium's, but that all ended during the God-Killer War when their civilization was wiped from the map and existence by Grix and his forces. It is now a haunted abyss littered with shattered isles and cursed storms. We'll even go over to it. Boop, 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 boop. Few ships venture near the abyss, most stopping well south of Seabreak Haven in the waters that remain safe. There's Seabreak Haven. Boop. It's a happy-go-lucky little place. It's not really. Ilaris, the once fabled home of Thalassa's chosen priest and her people. It is now a haunted ruin that lies half below the waves, its shattered towers slowly being eroded by Thalassa's own tides. The titanic beings that helped Grix destroy the realm from below still lurk in the abyss, hiding from the gods, lest they be found and dealt with for their crimes against her people. Let's see, where are we at here? Folos, up here above the salt marshes. An ancient village that still clings to life on the edge of the fetid salt marshes, or fetid, that once were fertile plains of Thalassia. Folos is one of the only true pieces of Thalassian culture to survive the war. For centuries afterwards, it was the home of the majority of refugees from Ilaris and the Isles. As talk of reclaiming Ilaris and the old cities waned, the people left, settling along the caustic strand or heading across the waves to Agrium. Those that stayed feel that they're the only true Thalassians, along with their brethren in the small coastal village of Seabreak Haven. Folos' main export is wines, made from their hardy northern grapes that can survive the harsher climates. Attempts to cultivate their grapes elsewhere in the Godlands have failed, ensuring that their exports remain in demand. Secondarily, the area is battered by storms, and the seas regularly disgorge ancient waterlogged trees into the swamplands, which they harvest for valuable amber and rare lumber used by artisans. And Chios, way up here. You can see it's a little greener up around Chios. Chios is a newer village established along the Queensblood River no more than 150 years ago by farmers from Folos. They found that the land had healed enough this far north to support more varied, I said various, varied types of agriculture than were possible further south. This farming village produces tobacco, corn, and temperate fruits in their orchards, supplying their brethren on the south, or in the south, and the dwarves of the Five Falls in the north. Let's see, Seabreak Haven is a small village that weathered the destruction of Thalassia by Grixis forces and was a haven for refugees as they fled to the west. The village is mainly known for its amber production and the many goods made from the shellfish that the village is known for. Village harvests. Using the same phrase twice. The area is also home to more than one wizard who is studying the ruins of the first mages which dot the coast. These eclectic and erudite scholars often enlist the aid of locals in searching for old artifacts, ruins, and treasures which wash up on the shores. Numerous small tribes of goblins reside along the broken shores as well, though none are too close to the village, their guards keeping the people safe. So, lots of coastal goblins. And then we get the Whispering Woods. How are we doing on time? Got about a little over 4 minutes. You're going to be a pimp, not a simp. Okay. Whispering Woods. These woods are said to be haunted, and the people of the village have seen centaurs dashing between the trees more than once. They believe the centaurs corral and shepherd the angry spirits back to the lands of the dead, so they tend to leave the creatures alone. Rumors also persist of a cult that lives deep in the woods, though few in the village believe these whispers are anything more than old wives' tales. All right, we're going to stop reading through that. We got through a few entries here, which is cool. And I've got a couple things. I still have to write the entry for Knesef. I got to do it. So yeah. Well, I'm going to slowly start wrapping up here because we got about 4 minutes. This was entertaining. Thank you for all coming on by. I'm partway through revising one of the later entries for a couple of things. So that's why I started at the beginning, because I wanted to kind of go through these. And, let me know if you found anything else interesting in there. You're like, oh my gosh, you need to explore blah, 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 blah. And I can throw that in there. So feel free in the comments to yell at me or talk to me about any of that stuff. Do it. I'm going to be back on Thursday. I'm not sure. I'll probably keep on this same, unless I do a bunch of this off stream. I'll probably stay on the same cadence, just going through the entries, doing some more reading through them, finding my mistakes, highlighting other bits and pieces that are important to the area, and then going on and on and on and on that way until I get through a bunch of these. Like, I found that I have to revisit some entries and really expand on them, which is the whole point of doing this. Finding typos and things is just icing on the cake. The icing on the cake. Let's see here. So we will be back here on Thursday. I don't know if we're having Wednesday After Dark this week. Maybe not. I don't know, because I know we were only doing it every other week. I'm not sure if they're going to be switching the cadence up, but, keep tuned, stay tuned, so we'll see what happens. If not, I will see you guys on Thursday for another episode of Frost Written. I'm trying to... I want to go into some more detail on a few other things in these kingdoms to really talk about some of the back and forth like I've done in Fryland. But I want to get through those readings. I left a few threads on the floor when I wrote these up that I really want to pull back to have people, how the people in the Azure Kingdom feel about these people and how they deal with the people in Lost Acadia and the people who left Lost Acadia and went to other kingdoms and what they feel about their home. I'm trying to find the best way to do that without muddying the waters too much. So I guess we'll see where that goes. What I'm trying to say is on Thursday, I don't know what you're going to get. If you're going to get me doing more of this, or you're going to get me off on a completely different tangent. We'll find out. All that said, I'm going to go and get ready to go to my in real life game. But thank you all for coming along. Please make sure to like the stream and add a comment, even if the comment is goofy and silly. Please make sure it's more than just the word comment if you're going to comment. And feel free to reply to other people's comments and thumbs up and, I don't know, make fun of them. Tell bad jokes. You could put a lot of puns in the comments. Just saying, it'd be great. Fill the comments with puns, and then Chrysant will be horrified. Right? Ruda has work this week. Oh, okay. All right. Talk about important characters inside the kingdoms that affect the internal politics. There are some of that. There is some of that. But also, a lot of that is going to be left up to the individual DM. Because we're putting the main characters in, and then, boop, letting them do a lot of that themselves. We will put some of them in there, though, because that's what I've been doing slowly but surely in these entries. No bad jokes. Only good jokes. All right. Fill the comment up with good jokes, then. And I'm going to get out of here. I will talk to you all, well, probably Thursday. So have a good night, and don't fall on the ice. I'll talk to you later.